To begin with our call for today, we just are going to be talking about a few things. First, we're just going to have our state program director's announcements, talking a little bit, just keep you updated with our transformation and sustainability plan. Then after that, we're going to be giving some VISTA updates and talking about some new resources that are available and giving some quick reminders about some things that are out there. Then after that, we're just going to be giving some reminders as well about our summer associate program and the next steps that need to occur with that. Then we're going to talk about recruitment best practices and things that we just need to keep on the lookout for moving forward so that we can ensure strong recruitment and have a strong recruitment pool of our VISTA candidates for the state of Florida. And then lastly, we're going to talk about National Service Recognition Day and how you all can get involved with trying to plan an event and get involved. So now I'm going to turn it over, going to the next slide, to my state program director announcements.
Thank you, Julius. Good morning, everyone. I don't have too many brand new announcements as it relates to our transformation and sustainability plan, but I do want to remind everyone that our physical space will be closing. Our last day in the office will be April 19th. That doesn't mean that we will cease to be your point of contact on that day. That just means that our last day in the physical space will be April 19th. So those of you who took the opportunity to come down to the office and schedule visits and whatnot, our last opportunity to do that will be April 19th. From that point, we will be all working remotely. So we'll still be available via telephone, email, Skype, what have you, for the time being. I don't really have a firm timeline for when the transition will happen. I can tell you that we will still be with you for the next coming months, and I gather at least until the end of the year. However, things could change, but in the interim, we are still your main point of contact. So that is the biggest update. I definitely encourage and invite you all to visit our webpage. We have a page specifically dedicated to the transformation and sustainability plan. That way you can get more information as things unfold. You can also subscribe so that you're getting the updates as they unfold as well. There are a lot of moving pieces and moving parts to this evolution of our agency. So a lot will be happening between now and the actual transformation. So stay tuned, stay updated, and again, we will remain your point of contact until further notice. And those are my biggest updates as it relates to our transformation and sustainability plan, Julia, unless there are any questions. All right, I'll pass it back to you, Julia.
All right, thank you so much, Billy. Continuing on, we are on the next slide, slide number 4, talking about VISTA updates. Again, just a reminder for fiscal year 2019, there were some updates for the VISTA member travel benefits. The settling in allowance is now going to be $750. Before it was $550. Also, the relocation for a close of service rate is now at 40 cents per mile versus 34 cents per mile. So these are nice things to advertise when we are talking to VISTAs about some of the benefits that are available to them. Again, you can always visit and see all of the VISTA member benefits if you go to the link that we have provided there on the VISTA campus. Be sure that you guys are familiar with that and are able to accurately describe and talk about all of the benefits that are available to the VISTA program. Also, there are some new updated things. We talked about these things before in our last call. There's new program guidance for fiscal year 2019, so if you haven't got a chance to look at that yet, please do so. There's also a new updated VISTA sponsor handbook, also a new updated AmeriCorps VISTA member handbook, and then there's also all this material has been updated on our new VISTA campus website as they've been adding new things and updating material. So definitely please be sure to check out these resources if you haven't already, and ensure that your VISTA member also has access to the member handbook and also the VISTA campus website as well. Moving on to the next slide, slide number 6, to talk about the Summer Associate Program. As you all know, just some general information about our Summer Associate Program is that the program is coming up, and essentially the Summer Associate Program serves as a hands-on supplement for our already existing VISTA projects. Some general things to know about this is that the Summer Associate Program can either last for 8-week service terms, 9-week service terms, or 10 weeks of service terms. This is a great thing, and we are already headway through the process. As we go through our next slide, we'll see that we have already come across 2 deadlines that have already passed. The next deadlines that we need to look out for those who are and have been approved to be Summer Associate sponsors, the next step is to send in your VADs into eGrants by this Friday, March 22nd. And then for those, if there were any clarification information that was needed additionally, that information is also due to the state office this Friday, March 22nd. After that, the following week will be the deadline for VISTA members to turn in and upload their opportunity listings into eGrants for their Summer Associates. That's on Friday, March 29th. And then lastly, the application amendments are due in eGrants on Friday, April 12th. So definitely keep on the lookout for this timeline if you are a Summer Associate sponsor, to ensure that we're getting in all our information in on time as we need it. Going on to the next slide, just to give reminders, because now is the time to start thinking about recruitment for the Summer Associates program, as it is exactly right around the corner. So if you have members who are going to be starting on June 3rd, we have the selection deadline of May 20th, and then below, I'm not going to read these all to you because I trust you all can read, but we have the different timelines for the different service weeks. For those who are starting Monday, June 10th, again, the selection deadline for that is May 24th, and then you can see the corresponding dates for what that looks like depending on the service term limits that the VISTA members are going to be serving. And then lastly, you see on Monday, June 24th, the selection deadline is June 10th. And also for those who are started on Monday, June 24th, please highlight that there are only 2 service term sessions, just the 8-week and the 9-week. Going on to the next slide for Summer Associates. Just some basic eligibility criteria. As you are recruiting, please keep in mind that Summer Associates must be 18 years old at the time of placement. I know that the example that's usually given is if you're looking to recruit a Summer Associate who is turning 18 possibly on June 11th, and they probably want to start on June 24th, then that will be acceptable as long as they are 18 at the start and the time of their placement. Summer Associates must also meet citizenship and residency requirements. Please refer to the AmeriCorps VISTA FAQs for more information on what that information details and all the things that are included with that. Lastly, Summer Associates must serve on a full-time basis during the project period. Summer Associates may not have outside employment during the project period, and Summer Associates may not be listed on the National Sex Offenders public website. As always with previous guidance, we encourage sponsors to give priority to the underserved youth between the ages of 18 and 24 in the recruitment selection of their Summer Associates. So please keep all of these things in mind when you are recruiting for your Summer Associates, just to ensure that at the first step that you are recruiting members who are meeting our basic eligibility requirements. And then also the big thing to keep thinking about for the Summer Associates with coming to the recruitment, as I said before, we want to make first sure that we are recruiting members that meet the basic eligibility requirement, but we do understand with that there can sometimes be barriers or additional documentation that we need to collect from the members. So first of all, definitely be sure to also refer to page 6 of the FY19 Florida Summer Associates Guidance for interviewing applicants. applicants. This was sent out before on our summer associate meeting. If you need this information or this PDF file with the guidance again, please just send an email or a link and we will send that back out to you. But definitely refer to that. And keep in mind some recruitment time killers that we have and things that we want to be proactive with so that we can ensure that these members are able to start on time because we have such a short timeline that we are working with. First thing first, with the references for the members, we want to ensure that we are letting candidates know to include references that are going to respond in a timely manner. Again, because the turnaround time for the summer associate program and the recruitment period is such a short window, we want to ensure that this is something that can be done in a timely manner. Also, with criminal history checks, be sure to obtain any criminal history documentation in advance, being sure that you give some type of disclosure. As we move on in this PowerPoint, I'm going to be talking about how we can do some of these things in general for our AmeriCorps VISTA program. But even with our summer associates, it applies the same, ensuring that you're being proactive and giving a disclosure about criminal history, disclosure and documentation, and trying to get that information ahead of time. Again, it's a short window. And then lastly, citizenship status. If the candidate is not a U.S. citizen, we would just need to ensure that we're able to get a copy of their eligibility document, such as a permanent residency card or social security card in advance then. So those are things we definitely want to be on the lookout for when we are recruiting for our summer associates this year. Again, it is a very quick window and short window that we have. I don't feel like I can emphasize that enough. So we definitely want to ensure that everyone is on top of that. Moving on to the next slide, slide 11. Also, when you're recruiting for your summer associates, I think it's always nice to understand the benefits and the things that you can promote to incentivize candidates to join your program. So just a quick overview of some of the benefits again for summer associates. There's a living allowance. There's also the Seagull Education Award. There's training that they receive, leave on federal holidays, emergency leave, only if it's approved by the CNCS state office, workers' compensation, and income disregard. So those are a lot of the benefits to use and to advertise when talking about the summer associate program for recruitment. And while we were just talking about, moving on to the next slide, to slide number 12, and while we were just talking about recruitment with our summer associates, there's some things that I do want to highlight and speak on with recruitment in general for our AmeriCorps VISTA projects. So a lot of things that come up with these calls every week comes from issues that we have from dealing with our grantees and things that we've just been hearing during the past 2 months. So a lot of the issues we have been hearing comes with recruitment. The first thing comes with not really understanding the audience, or the audience not really coming to the program. As I was mentioning with the summer associates, there are a lot of benefits to the program, and as you all know, there are great benefits to the AmeriCorps VISTA program, specifically for members who are serving full-time. So understanding that when you are talking about the VISTA program, you have to know your community and understand what you're promoting to them. To someone, you know, the thing that I always remember with the VISTA program and the VISTA candidates is that for some candidates, this is the lowest amount of income that they made in their entire life. So they have to adjust to that lifestyle and have to understand that lifestyle. But there are also other benefits that they receive with it. So that's kind of the incentive that they have to keep in mind with that. But for other individuals, this could also be the most money that they ever made in their life. So also understanding to promote to them the benefits of that, and also the additional benefits that come with being a VISTA member, such as the health allowance, the living allowance, federal eligibility, non-competitive eligibility that every VISTA members receive. So those are the things that we want to think about and definitely ensure that we are promoting to all of our candidates when we're thinking about recruiting for VISTA. Also, the next thing we want to think about with VISTA is just criminal history disclosure and the criminal history justification process. We are definitely here in the Florida State Office advocates of supporting those who would like to come back into reentry programs or have been past offenders who are looking to change their lives and to do more positive things in their community. So we're definitely advocates of those members who may have criminal history who want to serve. We just want to ensure that we are given a disclosure and that members are doing their due diligence and going through the process of ensuring that they collect all the documentation that they need and that information is disclosed at the time of their application. If it isn't disclosed at the time of their application, even when you're interviewing with the applicant at that time, also disclosing that information so that this information is disclosed and presented to the state office before the start of their service, and we're able to get this documentation before the start of their service. I know here in the state office we have been working on trying to come up with a template to provide some general guidance on some things that you can present to your recruiter, your candidates, as you're talking to them about the criminal history process. The biggest things that we want to ensure with this is that you have policies in place for criminal history disclosure that's going to ensure a timely onboarding of the VISTA member, because this can very much delay the process and possibly prevent your member from being able to serve if these things aren't handled in a timely manner. Moving on, the next thing we want to focus on is also the citizen status verification, ensuring that you have all the information and things needed for that. And then also, as we're thinking about our recruitment pool, just thinking about assisting our relocating candidates. We know there are challenges with recruitments, but there's also some opportunities to where VISTA members are going to be coming in from out of town, and we just want to ensure that our project sponsors are doing their job with ensuring that VISTA members from out of town that are relocating have some type of communication with the project sponsor about possible places for where they can stay. The project sponsor has an idea of when the VISTA member is possibly going to be moving, where they're going to be moving, just ensuring that there's strong communication with those members who are relocating, because again, there's been some issues to where our members who have been relocating haven't been given quite the assistance or support that they need from their sponsors. So we want to ensure and highlight that sponsors are thinking of this and that they're mindful of this when they are having candidates coming in from out of state. And then, as always, moving on, just talking and thinking about project management, ensuring that as a sponsor that you submit your sponsor verifications on time. Always assign a proxy if you're on leave. If there's any change in status of VISTA members, please ensure that you notify the state office within 24 hours. Moving on to the next slide, slide number 13, to talk about National Service Recognition Day. National Service Recognition Day this year is going to be April 2nd, 2019. This is going to be the 7th annual event that is going to be taking place. Right here we have provided a lot of links for you all if you want to learn more information about it. The initiative is just led by the Corporation for National and Community Service with support from our National League of Cities, National Association of Counties and City Services. Mayors and city leaders and county officials, tribal leaders, and elected officials from across the country are just trying to increase their use of national service to solve their community's toughest challenges. And this event is the perfect way to kind of put those things on display with working with our municipalities and our mayors and city leaders to ensure that we are promoting ourselves in the national service work that we are doing. If you are planning an event, please be sure to check out some of the resources. There's a communication toolkit that's been provided, a National Service Recognition Day fact sheet that includes some logos and printable signs that you can use for social media and advertisement. And then lastly, if you are planning an event, just please be sure to register online. And then moving on lastly to our next slide, just opening up the floor for any questions and answers. And that's all that we have for today's call.
While everybody's thinking about any possible questions, comments, or concerns, I just wanted to emphasize something that Julius discussed regarding the criminal history disclosure. We've been running into several issues in the past couple months. Not just one or two projects, it's multiple projects. And I don't want to say it's anything that projects are doing incorrectly, but I do want to help you all through this process. And Julius has been kind enough to come up with some template language. But in the case that you do get a candidate who discloses a criminal background, that is an indicator for you all to dig a little deeper and make sure that you have all the documentation necessary and required so that they can get approved through the program. It is a process. It does not stop with our office. It has to be sent up to headquarters. One unique thing that we experienced just recently is a transposition error in the date of the disclosure on a member's application that did not match up with the FBI background check. So those are things that you want to clarify with your members, reiterate as you are recruiting candidates who do disclose, that they make sure that they not only disclose completely, but also accurately. And we completely understand that sometimes, especially when offenses have taken, it's been almost a decade, that it's hard to remember what those dates were. And that's the whole point of getting that documentation and getting it early. Members have two opportunities to disclose. They can disclose on their application, and then they can disclose when they send in their fingerprint kit. So that gives them the additional time needed to get whatever additional documentation from the court where they were processed to make sure that they provide accurate and complete information. We have members who are proposed for termination because the information is not accurate. So that's just something we definitely wanted to underscore for you all. We know how hard you all work to recruit your candidates, and by no means should a criminal history, provided it's not a sex offense or a murder offense, be a barrier to national service. But we all just have to do a little bit more due diligence and extra work when it comes to this particular area, and making sure that our candidates provide us the required documentation that gives us a complete and accurate picture. The other thing I will say around this, as many of you may know, and as you'll see on the template that Julius created, the application does not ask members to list arrests. However, we have seen on multiple occasions where the FBI background check will come back with arrests that do not have a court final disposition. In that case, I would also encourage you all, as you're recruiting your candidates, if they have been arrested, that they obtain documentation to show the disposition of that arrest, whether the charge was dismissed, whether they went through a diversion program. Just in the event that it does come back on their FBI check, they'll already have that information, and we can go and move forward with the criminal history justification process. It becomes a roadblock for us. It becomes absolutely a roadblock for you all. And the more that we do on the front end in getting in front of these issues, the quicker we can move through this process and have your members serving. So that's just something we want you all to think about. If someone discloses, make sure it's complete and it's accurate. They have two opportunities to disclose on the application and when they send in their fingerprints. And if you have members who have been arrested, although it's not required for them to list that, it would be in their best interest to go ahead and get that final court disposition to show the final outcome of that case. So we wanted to talk with you all about that today, just because we have a multitude of cases actually that we're moving through, and the more we can help you, the more it'll help us, and ultimately help the members in your communities.
All right, thank you for that additional information, Billy. As she just said before, I did create some template language that are going to be sending out to you all after this call. If there are no further questions about anything that we discussed on this call, we can go ahead and end the call at 11:04 a.m. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.